I've been building a fantasy world for the last few years, and it's really transformed and changed my life. It's helped me to fill those hours of boredom that I used to have. It's given me purpose and drive again, and it's helped me to share my passions and to connect with people as well. I wanna, if you're anything like me, then when you were a little kid, you probably spent hours and hours playing, maybe drawing or writing, and building things with Lego, off out in the woods exploring, adventuring, killing hordes of orcs with swords, or shooting stormtroopers. But in our adult life, that play and that fun just seems to have vanished for the most part, doesn't it? And it wasn't until I discovered my creative hobby of world building that I really discovered that spark and that enjoyment again. I forgot how much of that I was just missing in my life. And perhaps you're like that too. Perhaps you're missing that spark, that enjoyment, that fulfillment in life, and just are stuck in a bit of a trap of consuming, scrolling social media, watching Netflix, and you just don't really have any go. You don't have any drive or any purpose, but you're probably quite ambitious. You just don't know where to channel that energy. And I think in the world these days, hobbies can quite often be seen as a bit of a waste of time, a bit of a distraction. But what if we could reframe that and actually make those hobbies, those things that you enjoy, that you get energy and passion from, and centre our lives around them, rather than them being something we do to distract ourselves from life? What if it was actually what our life was really for? If it was our purpose, if it was what we were put on this planet to do? And I've really found that with my world building. It's given me such energy. I wake up in the mornings now and I have this spark of creativity. As I'm drinking my morning coffee, quite often my thoughts are about something that I've been creating or designing for the world, or where this character arc is going, what this location is going to look like, or how does the magic system interact. And just so many ideas, and I'm so full of this creative juice now that it just comes flowing out of me. And for years I didn't have that spark, I didn't have that drive, I didn't have that want to make things. And I know what you're probably saying. It's I don't have a creative hobby. Great, you've got this world building thing going on for you, but this is nothing that really interests me. Well, I'm going to give you 3 pillars, I suppose, today to try and help you find what that spark is for you, and kind of to show you what your life could look like once you've latched onto it, once you've found that thing that clicks for you. So first off, obviously we need to identify what this hobby could be for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be creative, but I do think that a creative hobby is for most of us the thing that our lives lack. We spend so much time consuming on social media and watching countless hours of Netflix. But how many hours a day do we spend creating something, making something? And it's that energy that fills you up rather than breaking you down like over-consuming does. And don't get me wrong, consuming things isn't all bad. I've just recently rewatched the Matrix trilogy, and I've got so much inspiration from that. So consuming isn't all bad, but it needs to be done in a way that adds to your life rather than taking away from it. So, finding out kind of what that passion is for you. Cast your mind back to your childhood and think of the things that you used to really enjoy doing as a kid. You know, when there was no adult responsibilities, no bills to pay, no job to go to. All you had to worry about was school and what your mates on the playground thought. And for me, those hobbies were basically making fantasy worlds. I used to love writing, and I used to have some little Mega Block dragon character things, and I used to make up stories in my bedroom of the kingdoms warring with each other. And so for me, world building, coming up with a bit of a fantasy realm, and then actually writing some stories in that was my thing. But for you, it might be something completely different. You might have loved playing the guitar as you grew up and making music, and now that's the thing that your guitar might have even been sat in the corner of your room for years, and you never pick it up because you've almost forgotten how to play it, or you're not as good as you used to be, and life's just got in the way of that passion that you used to have. But if there isn't anything that sticks out to you, and you're still kind of lost for ideas as to what to put your focus into, where to find that passion and that purpose, then I've linked a ChatGPT prompt that you can just drop into it, answer a few questions, and it will point you to some ideas that you might want to look into. Perhaps some hobbies that you haven't heard of before, or something that just aligns with the things that you like in life. And it might not be the first one that you try several, try lots of different things until you find that one that really clicks and gives you that spark and that drive and that passion. And then secondly, once you've found that thing that gets you going, it's to build a habit of doing it every day. Now, when I say every day, I don't mean every day. You might want to do it 5 days out of 7 or whatever, but do it frequently, do it regularly, and find a way to integrate it into your day. I have a bit of a rule for me that is create, don't consume. And when I find myself feeling a bit stuck or a bit low, or just in a place where I don't feel very purposeful or passionate, I think of that create, don't consume, and I will quite often go off and just, even if it's just a quick sketch or a few lines on a story, or perhaps an idea that I just pop down into my notebook about my world building, quite often that then sparks and cascades, and that one little act of doing something, creating something, then spirals, and I find myself hours later still doing that thing, rather than being in a scroll hole or watching YouTube videos. And when I make those conscious changes and flip that script from consuming to creating, I find that my energy, my mood, my mental health, my spiritual health all just improve dramatically. And I want that for you. I want you to have something that can drive that change in you. And thirdly, the other thing I've found, that once you've found your thing and you've built up a consistent daily routine of doing that thing, is then to actually share it as well, which is why I'm putting this YouTube video out there. It's why I've put some drawing videos up on YouTube, and also I've created pieces for friends and family. My drawing skills since I started doing my world building have come a long way, and I normally draw maps or fantasy creatures, but I've actually drawn some pet portraits for friends and family, and just being able to give those to people in your life that you love and cherish, it's just a lovely thing that this passion that I've had has let me develop new skills. It's built my confidence in my abilities to do certain things, and I've then been able to share that with people that I care about. It's just a wonderful thing. And I don't really think it matters what your creative pursuit is. If you're making things, then you've got something to give. Whether it's music, perhaps you could write a song for somebody, or pottery. You make me and my wife got married recently, and one of her aunties does pottery and made us these little lovebirds, which are great. We've got them up on the shelf, and it's just a lovely thing to have had given to us. So it's not that passion and that purpose that you can get from not from world building, from creating. I get it from world building, you might not. That you can get from creating, just it goes beyond what you get out of it, and it expands into the world as well, and friends and family and strangers watching YouTube videos can all benefit from that inspiration. So yeah, just imagine what your life could be like if you woke up with that passion and drive and that play that you used to have as a kid, and see if you can find something that gives you that again. And hopefully the advice that I've been able to share with you today has helped in that matter. I know there may be a few excuses or things that come, or not excuses, more beliefs that you might have that come up against this idea that you need a creative hobby. Perhaps it's that you don't have enough time. I guarantee you have 5 minutes a day to spend doing something creative, and probably you have a lot more time than that if we're honest. Look at your screen time on your phone, or look how many Netflix series you've consumed over the last month, and you will soon see that you have a bit of time to be creative. I'm just as guilty of that as you are, so it's by no means a dig. It's just trying to reframe that limiting belief, I suppose. Another one might be that you don't have enough money to start a hobby. Well, there are loads of free hobbies to pick from. For example, the writing, that's pretty much free. You can just grab a pen and a bit of paper and crack on with that one. Drawing, again, same thing. Or perhaps making videos, recording videos. I literally just do this with my phone and a little Gridapod tripod thing, which was, probably like 15-20 quid. So you've got a phone that you're watching this on, and you've probably got a spare 15-20 quid. You can start doing filmmaking. Another one, and this is probably the biggest, and this was the biggest challenge for me, was that I just didn't have the energy to get into doing anything creative. I'd get home at the end of the day from work and just be exhausted, and all I'd want to do is sit on the sofa. But I found actually that when I started doing creative things, I got more energy rather than the consuming, which drew energy out of me. When I started creating things, it filled me up with energy. I became more energetic. I had more to give. I had more to do, and quite often I'd be, up at midnight still just working away because I had so much energy and so much passion for what I was making. So I hope those just kind of can help you to frame perhaps some of the things that might come up for you in challenge to this concept of creating rather than consuming. If you want to find out more about how I built that daily habit of creating something every day, I'll link a video probably on the end cards of this one that talks about how I approach my habits and build consistency with those. And yeah, if you've made it this far, I hope it's been helpful. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.